and we are going to play with a new stamp set. New to me. It is in the catalog right now, so let me grab it real quick. Okay, good. It's called Doggone Friendly, and I've seen a lot of really cute cards with it. So Doggone Friendly, that's George making a lot of squeaky noise in the background. Doggone Friendly is a background stamp set. So it's a stamp set that you can use in the background of something. So if you were going to stamp it in like a lighter color, like crumb cake or something, you could do some things in front of it. But there's one technique that I knew I wanted to try. So I'm going to show you how to do the spotlight technique. So let me rotate us around. Let me make sure I can find us. And also let me make sure I share. If you're here, say hello, comment. That is how the internet knows that I am alive. And yeah, share, comment if you're watching the replay later. That would be great. Any kind of comment helps, even if it's just the word replay. It totally helps. And if you're not subscribed, and there's a bell button, and the bell will send you a notification when I go live. So that's a great thing to have on, is the bell. All right. So I'm going to share this with our folks over in Facebook world. And then, yeah, we're going to do spotlight technique with Doggone Friendly. This is just a stamp set that I got, and I did not have I didn't have a chance to use it. So I've got a few from this annual catalog that carried over, and that's one of them. So I'm super excited about that. All right, so let me share this because we are live. We're going to post this, and then I'm going to come back over, and then I can see your comments. So, how many of you have a dog? If you do, tell me what kind of dog you have. We have a Bordoodle, a Border Collie Poodle mix. He's hilarious. He's very rambunctious. So last night he had a green squeaky bone. He loves squeaky things. Hey, Pat. Had a green squeaky bone on the bed with us, and he was throwing it up for himself. He's 55, closer to 60 pounds of a dog, and he's throwing it up, and he's catching it, and he's throwing it up, and he's catching it, and then he throws it up, and it lands on top of my head, and he pounces on me. Y'all, he's a mess. But we love him very, very much. So if you ever come to a class at my house, I have him boarded on Tuesdays and Fridays, like he goes to doggy daycare. But if it's not a Tuesday or Friday, most likely he's here. So hopefully you like dogs. He's getting better. He's getting much, much better. All right, let me turn us down. We'll check out the stamp set, and then we'll talk a little bit about the spotlight technique. All right, so there we are. There is Doggone Friendly. So, so cute. So excited. It's a super cute stamp set. So we're going to stamp this on some basic white cardstock, and I've got kind of a scrap piece here, so that's fine. And I want to do a little bit of coloring, so I'm going to stamp it in Memento. All right, and I'm going to grab some blend markers. All right, so let's see. We need to trim this down because I do need a piece. So I'm going to do a piece that's card front, which would be, I'm going to cut it to 5.5. I'm actually going to leave this crazy border on it only because I'm going to trim it. So when you're playing with a background stamp set, usually they're larger than your typical 4 1/4 by 5 or 4 by 5 1/4 kind of cut down piece. So I like to stamp as wide as I can, and then I'll try to And I usually try to tee up a corner and then I'll trim it down. So I try to tee a corner and then I do that. Now I keep my background stamp sets mounted in the case. So I do get the sticker and I do put the sticker on because it helps with the cling. And then I'll actually put it right here in the case and then I will ink it up with my ink, but just right here in the case. Now the reason I do this is I don't like the really big F block that is meant to go with all of our background stamps. My hand actually can't go that wide. We had at one point, like we were getting new iPhones and I had gotten this new iPhone and I actually ended up hurting myself. It was so wide, I couldn't get my thumb across it. Like I don't have that wide of a, my hands are generally large, but I don't know. My grip isn't that good. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ink up the whole thing. As you can see, I'm inking it several times because I really don't want there to be a gap anywhere. And then I'm just gonna try to tee up a corner, so kind of square myself off. And then I just rub, and I know we're gonna shake the camera by doing this, but that's okay. I just rub. I rub the edges and I rub the whole thing. You could use a brayer, especially if you have, like, this is an old speedball brayer, so it's a rubber brayer. It's like a foam, I don't know, it's a little bit squishier than our current hard brayer, if you have a brayer. So I used to use this for linoleum cutting and linoleum prints. All right, let's see. Hopefully I didn't rock it too much. Oh, good. I didn't rock it at all. Yeah. All right. This guy right here is who I want to spotlight. So you could pick any one of these dogs to spotlight. What I like about the spotlight technique is you don't have to color all the dogs. Yay, because that's a lot of cute puppies and they're adorable. Now, one of the other things I saw was some people went in and maybe they only colored in like the accessories, like the bandanas and the little collars and stuff. And that's fine. And if you really love coloring and you really want to do it, you can, no big deal. But that's just not that's not my thing. So what I want to do then is I'm actually going to cut this down a little bit. And I'm going to flip this over so I can find my German Shepherd friend here. So he is going to be somewhere. It's very hard to see dogs in reverse, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. So that's that guy. Okay, there he is. I see him. I see his ears. All right. So we're going to... There we go. Okay, so then I'm gonna get him, and I honestly think that your fingers are just fine. Now when you have some exposed ink like this, you might get a little bit of ink on your finger and then on the back side of the project, but that's okay, nobody cares because nobody's gonna see the back, right? So, okay, perfect. There's our very cute dog. I'm gonna set this aside. I've actually got my little tiny chamois. So the other day someone asked me, they're like, where'd you get the tiny chamois from? I'm like, it's the big chamois. I just cut it down. They're like, oh, that's brilliant. I'm like, yeah, I don't like the really big chamois. I think it's just too much. I like this little guy. Okay, so now that we've got that clean. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to color this one. And I'm gonna get some punches out. I'm gonna get my 2-inch punch and my 2 3/8. I could do this with dies as well. And I might end up, for the final part, I might do that. I'm actually going to zoom this in a little bit. And the reason I'm going to is so that you can see the coloring. So one of the things I like about Stampin' Up! Is that they do a really nice job helping us with coloring. They show us kind of where the darker pieces should be. I'm going to use some of the skin tone blends, and I'm going to kind of do them over here first, only so that I can see the colors and be like, oh yeah, he's got a lot of that red color in him. He has less of that. So, oh, that's very dark. Okay. So that might become my darker color, and that might become like my redder color. All right. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of color. I'm going to color him in. And you can see, right, there's definitely some, you know, some darker pieces in here. I'm going to kind of color him. And then he's got some, and then clearly, right, he's got some darker muzzle pieces. I also brought in like my gray and some smoky slate, and then I brought in some basic black as well, only because I want to make sure that we, you know, we get his nose. We need something that's pinkish for his tongue, but kind of dark. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna use. I'll use real red, but I might come back and add a little bit of something else to it. Only because I think it's a little bit, it's got a few other colors. All right, so then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna add some more color, and I'm gonna color him right side up. For me, I know we had a conversation about that the other day, that you guys were impressed that I can do stuff upside down, and I can do 99% of the things upside down, but there are a few things that I cannot do upside down, and coloring is one of them. It's just hard to see where you're coloring. All right, this is the lighter one. I think this is the darker one. Yeah, this is the one that's got more of the reds in it. So cute. And if I kind of want to blend that out, you know, I'll just come in and I'll give it a little bit more color. And then I'm going to do his ears a little bit different color to make that stand out a little bit. I'm coming in and add a little bit of shading. So this is the 500 and the 600 and the 200. So 2, 5, and 6. So it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what can you do with the skin-toned blends? Well, you can make some pretty cute puppies with them, right? So he looks pretty cute. All right, so we need, probably I'm gonna see how, yeah, Smoky Slate should work fine for his little, his tag is silver. And then he has a pretty bright collar, so I'm gonna see if I can sneak in a little blue fun collar here. There, and then I need to get a little bit, there's like 2 white dots right there. Okay, perfect. Awesome, okay. And then 1 right under his eye. Okay. All right, so now we've got our dog. He's super cute. And we're gonna get our punch. And we're going to punch him out. Super cute. And then we're going to get our background piece. And the only reason that I'm not sure I want to use this circle is because it's a little too big. Normally when you do this spotlight technique, you go just like one size bigger. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get a die to do that, but that's okay. So I used the new, I used Shy Shamrock. I thought I was pulling like a blue, like a summer splash, but I pulled a Shy Shamrock. All right, so we're going to trim this down, and we're gonna make sure that we're at 4. So that's quite a bit. So let's go. Now, if I was being really funny, I would spotlight him and his friend. Maybe I will. That's kind of cute. So there is a George look-alike on here. He's not perfect, but he's close. So we need 5 1/4, so that's good. So we're gonna go 5 1/4. Grab some of the puppies at the top, and then we're gonna go down to 4. And that's good because I did kind of, I waffled a little bit on this. Now I want to make sure that I don't go too far over. Nope, I think that'll be a little bit on this side. And then we'll go down a little bit on this side. All right. So here he is, right? He is looking super cute. All right, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a die. I'm gonna put these colors away. And we use Shy Shamrock, so we're just gonna use Shy Shamrock, and that's totally fine. All right, so we're gonna cut a card base, and we're gonna cut at 5 1/2. Actually, we're gonna score first. So that's one of the tricks, right? We score first, because then we score once and we cut once, and that gives us 2 card bases and less strokes, right? Less effort. I love less effort. All right. All right, so then we've got this, super cute. So now we've got this piece, and then you can see how this piece is going to go here, right? But we need to get sort of a highlight or something to spotlight it with. So let me pull out the circles. All right, so I want to see if one of the stylish shapes will work. This one's too little. That one's pretty big too, so those aren't gonna be the winner. One's too small, one's too big. Let's try the decklet circles and see if we can find one. So we wanted something that's just barely bigger than the circle we've punched, which that one would probably do it. So we're gonna give this a try. We're gonna cut this. I'm gonna do it in black and see if that does what we want it to do. If it doesn't, then we'll try it in a different color. The spotlight technique is great for when you have an image that is a lot of line art and you don't feel like coloring the whole thing. So I love it for that. All right, so we are going to, I don't know why this card base is funny. The fold, I might not have scored it right. That's totally possible. Crazier things have happened, all right? All right, let's try to fix our mistake here. Nothing that a bone folder can't fix. All right, so we've got our card base and we've got our puppy image. So Stampin' Up! Did a bunch of cute posts with this stamp set, I think maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago. So if you go on Stampin' Up's thing, and I personally think that they should do a cat one like this because there are lots of cute little kitties. So the other thing we were talking about the other day was what a cool effect the backside of the blends are, especially when you do flowers and stuff. It's a really neat, it's a neat look. And so we were talking about like using the backside of one of our blend projects when we do flowers. So what I like about this die is I do like the kind of crackly edges, but I also like it's really, really thin. So it's gonna like just pop what we want. And then we have a new die and stamp set called Full of Life, and it says friend on it. And that's the secret word, that's the code word. If we say that, then he thinks he's gonna go see his ARLO. That's the name of his FRIEND. So I'm going to put that on the card. And I think this is the perfect card to give my friend. So see how I'm lining up the artwork so that, right, and I want to make sure that I've got his ears lined up and I've got his face, right? I want to make sure the angle's just right so that it literally looks like it just popped out, right? That's the idea. And then we're gonna add a fun little sentiment here. So let me die cut that and I will show you. All right. So I'm going to use some glimmer paper. That's our in color glimmer paper. And I'm going to use the Friends for Life die set. So there's two letter outlines in here. So there's a thicker one and a thinner one. We're going to do the thinner one on here. I wanted to show you the other dies. So this is actually going to be, oh no, this always happens and I always get sad when this happens. This is going to be my July class. My June class is Seaside Wishes, and my July class is going to be this. So this heart die is really cool. I think we'll do some fun techniques with this. But I really, I like the sentiments and the artwork, and I think it's really artsy. It's an artsy set. It's the one that goes with that crazy pop paper that's like wild. All right, so we're gonna die cut the glimmer paper. We're gonna do, I've done adhesive sheets on the back, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do just in plain cardstock. And I actually think I'm going to do it in Summer Splash, which is a coordinating color, and it doesn't have to be matchy, 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 right? So let me run these two through the die machine. All right, so anytime you have word dies like this, I love them, they're fun. I like this one because it's really easy. What I don't love is sometimes these ones, the skinny ones. So the eye has a very cute, fine situation at the top. Let me get my little pokey tool here. It's so sweet. Our friend Pat Works made these for us, and I love them so much. They're so cute. All right. So the top of the eye has a very, very small little piece that I will pop out, and it has adhesive backing because I did the adhesive backing, and so we will pull off the adhesive sheet for everything, and then we'll work on getting that top of the eye there. If for some reason you can't, because you lose it, which is easy to do, or you just don't want to deal with it, you can just put a little rhinestone or an embellishment up there, and it looks super, super cute. So sometimes it's easy to find like the start or the edge of the adhesive sheet, and sometimes it's not. It just kind of depends. But I will say it is easier than having to apply tiny glue on here. So, all right, and then there's a break. Adhesive sheets are 2 inches wide. So when you're doing a long word like this, depending on which way you ran the adhesive sheet, there might be a break in the adhesive sheet, and then it might start the next 2-inch strip, which is what we did here. Sometimes it's easier to do it on an edge. Sometimes it's easier to do it here. All right. So, let's see. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. So the letters on these really delicate dies can sometimes get out of shape. So it's really important to just kind of, like, as you go, just kind of, you're going to reshape it back to whence it came, because the letters can get a little wacky. Perfect. And then this one, if you think you can get it, you know, great. If you can't, fine too. The other option is if you can't get the backing off of it, sometimes the pick a tool will help, which in this case it did, and that's awesome. Yay. And then I'm hoping I'm going to be able to pick it off my nail and put it on the project. And we're going to call that good enough. All right. So then we've got these, and we're going to put some small dimensionals behind it. You don't have to do a ton. You could do 3 or 4 or 5. There's plenty of space to do this. And then I'm going to, so this would be, if I was going to color any of the doggies to be like ours, I would do this one. He doesn't quite look like that, and he's definitely got all the little spots. It would probably take a little while to do that. I don't necessarily want to cover him up though, so I think I'm going to do kind of like this, where we can still see him, right? But then it kind of goes across here, and we can see him too. All right, so there you go. That is the very fun Doggone Friendly stamp set and the Friends for Life dies, which I really do love, and I hope that you have loved this too, and the spotlight technique. So let me know in the comments if you think that you will use the spotlight technique for another stamp set. Maybe you have a stamp set that you're like, oh, that would be really fun to try that with. So let me know in the comments if you have a stamp set that you want to try the spotlight technique with. I hope you had a good time today. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk more, and I'll see you guys next week. I'll have lots of swaps and samples to show you next week, because I have 2 big events happening, and we'll have like 30 plus probably another 10. I don't know, I'll probably have like 40 swaps to show you next week from all different stamp sets. So I'm super excited. Please come back for that. We'll play a little bit more with some of the new projects and products next week. And Doggone Friendly. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you later. All right. Bye, everybody.